What's up, basketball people of the Philippines? We're back at it again with another basketball content, and today we are going to talk about a Filipino NBA aspirant, Kai Soto. But before we begin, I would just like to ask everyone to please like this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified if we'll be putting up videos just like this one. Okay, so now it's time to be honest about our very own Kai Soto. So, as we all know, Kai Soto strives to be the first ever Filipino to be drafted into the NBA. Now, just to make it clear, I know that a lot of you out there still wants to point out that Kai should have gone to the Euro League or maybe play uh, college basketball in the US or some other basketball leagues in the world other than the Australian NBA. But we are not going to look at those angles today since he is already playing for the Adelaide 36ers. And as I said, in the Australian NBL. So right now, Kai is signed up for this year and possibly next season. So trying to talk about what could have been is just like crying over spilled milk. However, what we are going to talk about today is Kai's current situation and his possible future in the NBL. So, as I mentioned earlier, Kai is currently playing for the Adelaide 36ers of the Australian NBL. For now, Kai has only seen one official regular season game, and in that game, they won up against the Kyrene Taipans, wherein the 36ers lost the game 93 to 67. Kai played a total of 9 minutes and 50 seconds and had a 1 point, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, box score numbers. So, as of the making of this video, the Adelaide 36ers just scored another win against the top team of the NBL, which is the Perth Wildcats. In this game, uh, I can start to see how the Adelaide's team rotation is going to be, as Kai did not play a single minute in this game. So while Daniel Johnson and Cam Burstow, both a big man for the Adelaide 36ers, scored 20 points and 19 points respectively. And of course, with their main center, Isaac Humphries, still slowly working himself back to the lineup, my observation is that the 36ers are going to play Kai Soto as an end of the bench kind of guy. I know it is very disappointing, at the same time infuriating for us Filipinos, given how physically gifted and uniquely talented Kai Soto is. So after last night's game, a bunch of Filipino basketball fans expressed their frustrations by bashing and leaving their hate comments on the official Facebook page of Adelaide 36ers. Nakakatawa na nga na kahit nanalo ang Adelaide by a margin, by a respectable margin, ay mas marami pa ring angry reactions on their latest post dahil nga hindi nila pinaglaro si Kai Soto. So, some even dared to unfollow the said Facebook page. So this is very understandable, and I would agree with some of their comments saying that Kai could have gotten a decent amount of playing time given that the 36ers were up big in a big chunk of this game. So for me personally, I thought Kai definitely could have played when the team was up 28 points in the second quarter, and even when they were up 13 points with less than a minute remaining. However, although I was a bit disappointed, and I would be one to say that their rumblings or these rumblings by the Filipino fans are more than valid, I believe that it is also a bit of an exaggeration. I know I'm probably gonna make or gonna probably gonna take much heat about this, but I personally believe that to some extent the coach's decision is somewhat reasonable. Now, first and foremost, I would just like to point out that the Adelaide 36ers were up against the Perth Wildcats, who are currently standing as the number one team in the NBL right now. And not only that, they also have the top two leading scorers in the league in the person of Vic Law and Bryce Cotton. And over and again, they have continued to prove that they could take over any game as quickly as they could. So, also, let us keep in mind that the NBL Australia is a professional basketball league that focuses more on winning than player development, right? But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the team wouldn't have won without or with Kai playing, because I know that Kai can definitely hold his own just as he has been able to stand his ground against top international talents of the world, just like Boban Marjanovic of Serbia and even the big man of Puerto Rico and other big men or other players from other countries internationally. But what I'm trying to say is that the NBL is not the D League or the G League for the NBA or any other prep school that is heavily focused on the development of players. Right, so although I know Coach Bruton and the management of Adelaide promised that they would really help Kai develop his game, which I really hope that they would do. But I believe that this would only be a second priority for the team, with being the first priority going to have to be winning for sure. Winning is going to be the top priority, while developing players is going to be second priority, which Kai will be in. All right. So let's take Lamelo Ball for example. We all know him. He plays for the Charlotte Hornets. So he's actually the third overall pick and also a Rookie of the Year winner last season. So just for everyone's information, he played 51 games but only started 31 games, as he did not start on most of his early games with the team. Uh, so let's just keep in mind that this was a third overall pick in the NBA, and he had to come off the bench most of his early days during his rookie season. Now, I'm not trying to say that this is the same situation as with Kai, since this is not the NBA, and Kai did not see any playing time last night compared to Melo while he was still playing off the bench in his rookie season. And most definitely, Kai is not yet a lottery pick like LaMelo was. So, I'm not saying that he cannot be, I'm just saying that he isn't for now, right? So I guess all that I'm trying to say is that for a very young player, he still needs to gain the trust of the team, and first of course gain the trust of the coaches and prove to them that in the little opportunities that he will get, that he will be able to create the same production as the other three front court players of the team that I have mentioned previously. And not only that, maybe he could prove to these coaches and the team that he could not only match their level of productivity but also can surpass it this year or maybe even next year. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but hopefully it does, because it's going to help Kai a lot with his draft stack and as well as his chances of making it into the NBA rather. So Kai is definitely a very promising young prospect. He is already gifted with a height of 7'2", which is very rare for Filipinos to have. And not only that, he also have enough raw talent to say that he will surely flourish on the court one way or another. In fact, this is actually backed up with all his stats during the Gilas youth stint and his time in the skills factory. So he is consistently scoring double digits and also had multiple double digit rebounds on a nightly basis. So, as promising as all that was, Kai still haven't been able to show that his play can be translated now that he is already playing against grown men, as he has failed to have a double digit stat in both points and rebounds for both FIBA uh, competitions and on the NBL during his senior FIBA stint. Okay, so again, I'm not trying to say that he cannot do it, but right now he just hasn't been able to do it thus far. And playing time would really make a big factor in that aspect. That is why Kai is really in a tough situation right now with the Adelaide 36ers. So currently, Kai is already 19 years old and he is turning 20 this coming May 2022. And he is currently signed up with the Adelaide 36ers for this year and the next, which he will be turning 21 years old by then. So I really think that unless Kai can opt out of this current contract and find somewhere else to play where he could get the same or even more NBA exposure, I believe that Kai has to make it work right here with the Adelaide 36ers. Now, I'm still very optimistic that Kai will get more playing time as the season progresses, especially against middle to lower level teams in the NBL, and Kai should really try to capitalize on those chances for him to not only gain more playing time in the future, but also improve his draft stock by doing so. So if he is really trying to finish the 2-year contract with Adelaide, he has to use this season to get more familiar with the NBL game and get more trust from the team and more experience in order for him to take on a bigger role next season. So now I'm not closing the door on the possibility that Kai could break out this year, but to be more realistic, I'm okay with Kai to enter the draft next year when he is already 21 years old with more experience, more muscle, and much more polished and refined skill set. Now, overall, I am patient enough to say this, that I am really willing to wait for Kai to grow as a player, but if Kai doesn't really get enough opportunities till then, it is definitely going to be on the Adelaide 36ers and their coaching staff. And unless Kai gets drafted this year or the next year, this NBL stint surely will become a failed experiment for Kai and his camp. Nevertheless, with the right opportunities and enough room to grow, Kai's dream of being the first full-blooded Filipino to be drafted in the NBA is not very far off. Now, I hope that all of us will continue to show our support for Kai and on his NBA journey. So, with that being said, that's all I have for you today, and I hope that you will not hate me as much as after the making of this video. But nevertheless, this has been People's TV, and we're going to see you again soon. Peace. Sayonara.